I trusted him with everything. My secrets, my dreams, my first business. And one day, he turned around and betrayed me. He thought he had destroyed me. He thought I was finished. But what he didn't know was that the person he tried to ruin was already planning his comeback. And when the truth came out, he realized it was too late to undo the damage he caused. My name is Ethan Carter. Growing up, I had one best friend, Alex. We shared everything: school, first jobs, and even our first startup idea. He was the charismatic one. I was the quiet one, the planner. Together, we dreamed big. And eventually, we took a leap. We started a small tech company in my garage. I handled finances, planning, operations. Alex handled the client pitches and the face of the company. We complemented each other perfectly. And for 2 years, we grew slowly but steadily. Then one day, I discovered that Alex had secretly signed a contract, transferring half the company's shares to a competitor. He thought I'd never find out. He thought he could have everything and leave me with nothing. I confronted him. He laughed, said, "You're too slow, Ethan. Business is about speed, not trust." I didn't argue. I didn't react, because I had already started my silent plan. I quietly registered another company under my name, used the patents, systems, and relationships we built together. All the contracts Alex thought belonged to him, I secured legally. Every client he tried to take, I had already sent proposals under my ownership. He celebrated. He thought he had outsmarted me completely. Weeks later, the competitors started asking questions. "Wait, who actually owns this product?" Alex panicked. I didn't call him. I didn't confront him. I waited. Because the truth is, the best revenge is patience. Then the board meeting happened. Alex walked in, confident as ever, ready to pitch himself as the hero. I was already seated at the head of the table. Everyone turned to Alex. He expected applause. Instead, silence. I smiled. "I think it's time we clarify who owns this company." I handed the board the legal documents. His face went pale. Every client, every contract, every relationship he thought he controlled was already under my name. He realized in that moment he had underestimated the quiet one. Alex froze when he saw me at the head of the table. "Ethan, what is this?" he asked, trying to sound calm. I leaned back in my chair and smiled faintly. "You tell me, Alex. Who actually owns this company?" I handed him the folder with every single legal document, every contract, every client relationship, and patent registered under my name. He turned pale. The confidence, the arrogance, the smug look he carried for years vanished in an instant. He realized the truth. The person he tried to destroy had been quietly preparing the ultimate comeback all along. I didn't yell. I didn't insult him. I simply let the facts speak. The board looked at him, then at me. No one defended him, because everyone saw it. He had underestimated the quiet one. Weeks later, Alex resigned quietly. No threats, no arguments. He understood the consequences of his betrayal. The company thrived under my leadership. Clients returned. Employees regained confidence. And I learned something important. Revenge isn't about anger. It's about patience, strategy, and letting life itself deliver the lesson. Sometimes the person who seems powerless is quietly writing their own victory, and the one who betrays you will never see it coming until it's too late. It's about patience, strategy, and letting life itself deliver the lesson. Sometimes the person who seems powerless is quietly writing their own victory, and the one who betrays you will never see it coming until it's too late. Alex sat across from me, defeated. The arrogance, the smirk, the confidence he carried for years, all gone. He tried to speak, but no words could undo what had been revealed. I didn't need to yell. I didn't need to humiliate him. The evidence spoke for itself. All those deals he thought were his legally, ethically, and strategically were mine. He realized too late that the person he underestimated was the one quietly orchestrating everything. I looked at him calmly. "Do you understand what you did?" I asked. He swallowed hard. "Yes," he whispered. "More than anything, you thought winning meant taking everything from me. But real power," I paused, "is patience, strategy, and knowing your worth." He looked down, knowing the truth. The board watched silently as I continued. Betrayal doesn't always end in violence. It ends in consequences. And sometimes the quietest person holds the most power. Weeks later, the company was thriving. Clients returned. Employees regained confidence. Investors believed again. And I understood something critical. Revenge isn't about anger. It's about preparation, resilience, and letting life itself deliver justice. Years later, people asked me, "How did you stay so calm while he betrayed you?" I smiled. Because revenge is temporary. Strategy lasts forever. And the person who seems weakest often has all the control. After Alex resigned, the office felt almost surreal. The whispers that had once followed me down the hallways vanished. Employees who had doubted my judgment approached me openly now, asking for advice, guidance, and reassurance. Clients who had grown wary after months of uncertainty returned to our calls, eager to collaborate. And I realized something fundamental. Betrayal isn't always about losing money. It's about trust. It's about patience. It's about demonstrating that quiet determination, strategy, and calm judgment are far stronger than arrogance, haste, or impulsive ambition. I didn't gloat. I didn't make Alex feel small. I let him witness the consequences of his actions naturally. The board, the employees, and the clients had all seen the truth, and it spoke louder than any words could. Alex's mistakes, his greed, and his underestimation of me had already written his downfall. And the satisfaction I felt wasn't in him losing. It was in knowing that I had remained patient, composed, and deliberate while he thought he was winning. Weeks turned into months. The company not only recovered, it thrived. Operations streamlined. Clients returned. Employee morale restored. Even the investors who had begun to doubt us were impressed by the resilience and leadership I demonstrated. I remember walking into my office one late evening, looking out at the city skyline. It hit me then, true power doesn't need a display of force. Revenge isn't yelling, destroying, or lashing out. It's preparation. It's understanding the terrain. It's waiting while the person who underestimated you accelerates toward their own undoing. People often ask me, "Ethan, why didn't you confront Alex earlier? Why wait?" I tell them the truth. Because patience isn't passive. It's active. It's planning, observing, calculating, and letting life expose the arrogance of those who betray you. Alex thought power was taking what wasn't his. I knew power was surviving the betrayal, outmaneuvering him, and reclaiming control with precision and calm. One day, Alex walked past my office after months of silence. He didn't speak. He didn't make eye contact. I didn't need him to. His own conscience was enough punishment. He understood, finally, what he had lost. Not just a company, but the respect, trust, and relationships that could never be rebuilt. As I sit here reflecting on everything, I realize that the quietest person in the room often has the most power. The person you think is weak, distracted, or powerless is quietly building their victory. And the person who betrays you never truly knows the impact of their actions until it's far too late. I reclaimed the company. I restored trust. I proved that strategy and patience always outweigh anger. And I learned the most valuable lesson. The sweetest revenge isn't destruction. It's standing tall while everyone who underestimated you scrambles to understand what they just lost. Months passed, and the company continued to grow stronger. Clients who had once doubted us were now loyal. Employees who had whispered about me now followed my guidance without hesitation. Investors praised the stability and foresight of the leadership. And through it all, Alex remained a silent reminder of the cost of betrayal. I often thought about our early days in the garage, the long nights, the small wins, the shared dreams. I wondered how a friend I once trusted so completely could become someone who tried to destroy me. But then I realized his betrayal wasn't personal. It was his nature. He believed ambition meant taking shortcuts, ignoring loyalty, and seizing what others built. And I, the quiet one, had learned the most important lesson. Patience, resilience, and strategy are more powerful than emotion, anger, or impulsive action. Sometimes I still see him in passing. He doesn't speak. He doesn't meet my eyes. And I don't need him to. He knows. He understands, finally, the truth. The person he tried to destroy not only survived, but thrived. And more importantly, that person, me, did it without losing integrity, without anger clouding judgment, and without sacrificing what truly mattered: trust, preparation, and calm resolve. I lean back in my chair sometimes, watching the city lights, and I think betrayal is painful. Revenge can be tempting. But the greatest victory comes not from destroying someone, but from rising above, protecting what you value, and letting life itself reveal the consequences to those who underestimated you. And that, I learned, is the sweetest form of justice.